What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Premium MMA. My name is Hydro, aka Big Splash, and I'm here to give you my updated quick picks for UFC Fight Night, Kai France versus Amir Albazi. Let's get straight into it. First up, we got Philippe Lins versus MAXIM GRISHIN. I got Philippe Lins in this matchup just because he looked good in his last win, and I was going for his opponent. I didn't expect him to win. I believe he was an underdog, or I don't know. It was a close fight. I forgot who he went against, but he did win his last fight, and he looked good doing it. MAXIM GRISHIN, he's a little older, but he's still got a fighting spirit in him. He's still down to fight, and he'll still take fights. I do believe he's going to fight until he's like 44, be one of those old guys. Or you never know, he might retire, because he has been in a bunch of fights. He's 32-9. That is a crazy record. Like, I don't care about the 9 losses. Those 32 wins, oh my, like that. Them 32 wins, that's gnarly. And it's been against good competition as well. So don't underestimate MAXIM GRISHIN. But the older you get, you know, that chin just doesn't really hold up. And that's with everybody. Everybody who gets older. The people who used to just brawl with people and knock people out now and that are older now, they're getting knocked out. But I do have Philippe Lins in this matchup. This is a pretty good match for him to win. They set it up nicely for him to be on a little win streak. Because I mean, I don't see Philippe Lins even fighting for the belt anytime soon. He's a little older. He's been in the UFC for a while now, but he does put on exciting fights, and I do like his fighting style. So I do got Philippe Lins in this matchup, being the better all-around fighter, the better striker, and better grappler. Next up, we got BLACKSHEAR versus LUAN LACERDA. I got BLACKSHEAR in this matchup. This is a close matchup. LUAN LACERDA, he ain't no scrub. He's actually a really good fighter. Just in his debut, he just wasn't thinking. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. LUAN treated his debut like a jiu-jitsu match. He was striking a little bit, but he was getting outstriked. He couldn't handle the pressure, so he would try to go to his back or try to get takedowns, but he couldn't. That's why his takedown accuracy is 25%. I mean, he could defend takedowns, but not against a high-level wrestler. But BLACKSHEAR isn't a high-level wrestler. He's a decent grappler. He's decent on the feet. But I have BLACKSHEAR in this matchup. I believe he has the UFC experience, and I hope he's been working on his striking, because he has no striking defense at all. And his striking accuracy I think it's better than what it says on paper. I do have BLACKSHEAR just because LUAN did not look good in his debut. He just tried to take it to the ground, try to take it to the mat. But this is a mixed martial arts match. You gotta strike as well, which he did, but he was getting pieced up, so that's why he was trying to take it to the ground, but he just couldn't. He just couldn't at all. But I got BLACKSHEAR here in this matchup, being the better all-around fighter, the more experienced fighter. Next up, we got ELISE versus FREY. I got FREY in this matchup just because I think she'll be able to get back to her feet once ELISE takes her down, because ELISE is gonna want to wrestle with her. She's going to get at least a takedown on Frey, but FREY is the better striker in this matchup. If it does end up staying on the feet, she will outstrike ELISE. ELISE, she's a decent striker. She's an okay striker. Recently she's been getting better at setting up her takedowns with her striking, because she knows she's not, for some reason she just is not good at striking. She doesn't throw no volume at all, and that's why I have FREY, because I believe Frey is going to put pressure and volume on ELISE to where ELISE is just going to throw just predictable shots at the legs, try to take her down, and FREY better be able to defend those. Her takedown defense is really good, so I do believe she will defend most of ELISE's takedowns. ELISE will probably get one takedown in the early rounds, probably like in the first round. But other than that, after that, FREY will see that shit coming and just keep it on the feet. I got FREY in this matchup, being the better all-around fighter. Next up, we got Mullarkey versus MUHAMMADJON. I do got Mullarkey in this matchup. I believe Mullarkey is going to outclass MUHAMMADJON, unless Niyamov's been training his ass off and working. But I believe Mullarkey's just been working harder, and he's a hard worker. He's been improving. He's improved in all his fights. You could tell, you could see. And in this matchup, he's the better striker, better grappler. And if Niyamovov even tries to shoot 4 takedowns, Mullarkey's going to defend him. His wrestling gotten way better. It's way more slick. And his striking gotten way better, especially his striking defense. He moves his head a lot. He has great head movement. And you could tell over the years, his head move, he didn't usually have head movement. He used to keep it on the center line, but now he moves his head a lot. He slips punches and throws hella combos. He puts the pressure on his opponents and ends up getting the win. And that's what I think he will do here. And that's what I believe he'll do here in this matchup against NAIMOV. He'll put pressure on NAIMOV and just, he has that reach on NAIMOV, so he'll just outstrike him easy. And if NAIMOV tries to take it to the ground, that won't happen. This will be a Jamie Mullarkey fight. Jamie Mullarkey will control this fight, and he can get the finish if he wants to. Next up, we got John Castaneda versus MUIN Gafurov. I got Gafurov in this matchup. This is a pick'ems match for me because we got Gafurov making his debut, Castaneda having UFC experience, but I do have Gafurov in this matchup because I do believe he got better since his Dana White Contender Series. He did do really good in that match, but he ended up losing in split decision. But his grappling looked phenomenal. And Castaneda, on the other hand, if someone tries to take him down, he's going to pull guard or try to guillotine. And Gafurov, I believe he's skilled enough to where Castaneda won't get a guillotine on him. He'll get right out of it and just control him everywhere. Even if the scrambling went on, Gafurov's scrambling is crazy. He's good on the ground, but his striking is decent. Gafurov is able to use his striking to set up his takedowns. At first, I was leaning toward Castaneda with the UFC experience. I really watched Gafurov's Dana White Contender Series footage, and he did. Even though he lost, he looked great in that matchup. He looked phenomenal. So I do have Gafurov in this matchup. Next up, we got Andrei Arlovsky versus Don'Tale Mayes. This was a pick'ems fight for me again. We got a really old, great UFC fighter who still got fire in him. And then we got Don'Tale Mayes, who's just a powerhouse who just swings, just straight hammers. He throws combos, but they're all heavy combos. Like, if you get clipped by him, you're getting knocked out, but they're easy to dodge because you see him coming. He just throws them with everything he got, every punch he throws. But I do think that Andrei Arlovsky is the better striker, the better technical striker. But Don'Tale Mayes hits hard, so that's why Andrei got to be careful. Andrei does have a chin, but he's getting older, so his chin might crumble a little bit. You never know. So this was a hard match for me to pick, but I'm going with Andrei Arlovsky being the better, just all-around fighter and being the better technical striker, because I do believe this is going to stay on the feet. And if Andrei's chin holds up, he'll outclass Don'Tale Mayes in the second, third round. First round, Don'Tale Mayes is going to do his thing, and then Don'Tale Mayes is going to get a little tired, and then Andrei Arlovsky is going to capitalize off that. And that's what I believe will happen. So I do have Andrei Arlovsky in this matchup. Next up, we got Daniel Santos versus Johnny MUNOZ. I still got Daniel Santos in this matchup. Daniel Santos is underrated in the bantamweight division. He's actually really good, and he's really tough. He was able to come back from that knockout, or he was able to come back from that knockdown against John Castaneda and put Castaneda away. That was pretty gnarly to me. That impressed me. Johnny MUNOZ, he's also a really good fighter. He's a good all-around fighter. Great grappler, great striker. But here, I think Daniel Santos is going to out-tough Johnny MUNOZ. I would say Johnny MUNOZ is the more technical striker. Daniel Santos is just, he'll brawl with you and he puts that pressure on you. And if it goes to the ground, I believe Daniel Santos will be the better wrestler and better scrambler and grappler. And on the feet, Daniel Santos is, like I said, he'll put that pressure on you, back you up against the cage, and probably find the knockout. And that's what I think will happen here. So I do have Daniel Santos in this matchup. Next up, we got ABUBAKAR Nurmagomedov versus ELIZEU dos Santos. I just be the worst at names. I got Nurmagomedov in this matchup. He's actually a pretty good striker. Is decent. And his grappling skills are really good. He's a good wrestler. His takedown defense is it's hard to take this dude down. And he's able to get a takedown in each of his fights and just control his opponents for at least a round or two. His striking is actually really good. He can stand up with you or go to the ground. He's just a great all-around fighter. Dos Santos, on the other hand, he is no joke. Don't get me wrong, he's no joke. I know he's nothing to be played with. His striking is crazy. He is the better striker in this matchup. But I believe that Nurmagomedov will be able to strike with Dos Santos, and if Nurmagomedov wants to take it to the ground, he can. and he'll control Dos Santos, probably get more significant strikes on the ground. And that's just what I see. Nurmagomedov's going to put the pressure on Dos Santos. But usually Dos Santos puts the pressure on his opponents and just throws them. But Dos Santos is a good striker, and he's actually pretty technical, and his hands are fast. So that's what Nurmagomedov got to be careful of. If he ends up getting pieced up, Nurmagomedov has to use his striking to set up those takedowns, and he will get those takedowns. So I got Nurmagomedov in this matchup. Next up, we got Karine Silva versus KETLEN SOUZA. KETLEN SOUZA is a pretty tough competition for Karine Silva, but KETLEN hasn't faced the competition that Silva has. Go look at her opponent's records. They're not that great. Karine Silva, on the other hand, has been fighting UFC fighters and putting them away. So I got Karine Silva all the way in this fight. She's just a better all-around fighter, especially on the ground. Don't mess with her jiu-jitsu game. She's slick with it. So I got Karine Silva in this matchup. Next up, we got Tim Elliott versus Victor Altamirano. I still got Victor Altamirano in this matchup. Victor Altamirano, he's a great striker. He's really good on the ground. He's good at wrestling and just scrambling, period, on the ground. Just able to get dominant positions or get back to his feet if he wanted to. But I believe this fight is going to stay on his feet. It's two awkward styles. Tim Elliott has the most awkward style in the UFC. That's why he's able to land so much volume on his opponents. But here, Victor Altamirano, he's just as awkward. So I believe Victor Altamirano is going to see that coming. This is the clash of the awkward styles. This fight right here is going to have me at the edge of my seat. It might even get fight of the night because these guys are just going to throw. These guys are not afraid to get hit. Tim Elliott keeps his chin in the air and his hands down. He's definitely not afraid to get hit. And Victor Altamirano, he's hard to hit. He moves his head off the center line as well. He's a good striker, and like I said, he's a great grappler, but so is Tim Elliott. He's a good all-around fighter as well. But this fight is going to stay on his feet. And who I believe is the better technical striker? Victor Altamirano. So I believe Victor Altamirano is going to outstrike Tim Elliott in this matchup. Next up, we got Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Jim Miller is a force to be reckoned with. He's an older guy, but he's still good at fighting, and he's still willing to fight. But I got Jared Gordon in this matchup being the younger, fresher fighter, and he wants to get a win, especially over that loss from Patty, that robbery. And this is a great matchup for him to get that win. Jim Miller, he's a tough opponent. He's older, but no, he's not no scrub. He's so tough. He's hard to put away. He'll go to decision with any of these fighters. But Jared Gordon, he got hands. He's a great technical striker. He has power, and he just looks for your chin. He also goes to the body. He mixes it up, and he's good at wrestling as well. He can hang with you on the ground. He's good at scrambling and just getting dominant positions and just ground and pounding. But I don't think that he's going to do that to Jim Miller here. This fight's going to stay on the feet as well. Jim Miller is going to box with Jared Gordon, but that's going to be a bad idea. Even if it goes to the ground, that's still a bad idea for Jim Miller. That's why I have Jared Gordon in this matchup being the better striker, better grappler, just all-around fighter. And he's going to outclass Jim Miller in this matchup. Next up, we got Alex Caceres versus Daniel Pineda. I still got Alex Caceres. Like I said, he's a great kickboxer. He's a great striker. His ground game is decent. It's all right. He's just able to hang on the ground. He doesn't do too much. That's why he just likes to keep it on the feet. His takedown defense is all right as well. Daniel Pineda can get a takedown in this matchup if you try to. But if Daniel Pineda keeps it on the feet with Alex, that's a bad idea for Pineda. Alex Caceres is going to find the knockout. Caceres is dangerous and powerful. The way he knocked out Julian Erosa was perfect. He set that up perfect. And I was honestly going for Erosa in that matchup. But Alex Caceres, he came through. But Alex Caceres is a great fighter. He's been in the game for a while. He's very experienced. So is Daniel Pineda. But I do believe Alex Caceres in the later rounds are going to have the upper hand on Daniel Pineda and just wear him out and finish him. So I have Alex Caceres in this matchup. Next up, we got Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi. This fight is going to be fireworks. I believe there will be a finish here. In this 5-round fight, there will be a finish in this flyweight division fight. These dudes only weigh 125 pounds, but are just so powerful and so skilled nowadays. I do have Kai Kara-France in this matchup just because who he trains with in his camp, they're just all elite fighters. Kai Kara-France did look good in the fight with him against Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno just found that shot. Brandon Moreno is just an elite fighter. I already knew he was going to become champ. Brandon Moreno is actually my favorite fighter in the flyweight division. And Kai just can't do nothing about that. But I got Kai France in this matchup. I believe Kai France has prepared, and that loss was he wanted that chance for the belt so badly. I believe Kai France needs another shot at the title, but Amir Albazi needs a shot for the title as well. Amir Albazi is just so crazy, and he's just so skilled, especially on the ground, and he's so powerful. He could put you away. He has knockout power for as little as he is. And yeah, I just don't know in this matchup, but this is gonna be like me. I don't care who wins or loses, dude. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I'm usually really okay, I'm going with him, In this fight, while watching this fight, I'm probably gonna be like, if Amir Albazi is capitalizing, I'll be like, yeah. If Kai France is capitalizing, I'll be like, yeah. But I do believe Kai France will win this fight just because his camp and just who he trains with, and he's going to get that win back. He needs to. His rib is all healed up after getting kicked. I do have Kai France in this matchup, but you never know. Amir Albazi is also a relentless fighter. He's a great all-around fighter, very skilled, very elite, and yeah, I think these two, they both need title shots someday or one of these days, you know. But I do have Kai France in this matchup. So that is it for my quick picks for UFC Fight Night. Kai France versus Amir Albazi. I know y'all was in agreement with me last week about my early picks, but if y'all agree with me this week and enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.